Have you ever heard the story of Aladdin? Everyone remembers the lamp, the 3 wishes, and how a street boy became a prince. But what if Aladdin's very first wish was not for wealth, nor for power, nor for love? What if he chose freedom? Freedom for the genie? Today, we will step into that very different tale, where miracles do not thunder from the sky. They take root in quiet choices, in bread shared while hungry, in names spoken without fear, and in a hand offered to an enemy. This is the story of a city that learned to breathe without magic. Morning poured over Agrabah like molten gold. Hawkers sang, spices pricked the air, carpets rippled like tame waves. Barefoot and bright-eyed, Aladdin slid through camels and baskets. He was poor enough to measure bread by crumbs, yet rich enough to notice who else was hungry. Every kindness he offered returned as a quiet debt in his heart. Under the city wall, traveling merchants whispered about a cave of whispers swallowed by dunes. Inside, they said, lay a dusty lamp, plain clay, yet potent enough to tilt a kingdom's fate. Hope caught Aladdin like a hook. If he could bring change, let it be for more than himself. He followed the stars alone. Sand hissed like snakes around his ankles. Thirst gnawed. Silence magnified doubt. Yet each step answered a promise he had never spoken aloud, that the poor deserve rain. At a lone stone slab, Aladdin pressed his palm. Sand melted like water. A doorway yawned. He entered a hush so ancient it seemed to remember him. Treasures glittered, but only one thing felt alive. A clay lamp, dull brown, hairline cracks mapping its age. He touched it. Dust sighed. Blue fire blossomed. The genie rose, tall as a storm tower, eyes worn by centuries yet bright with mischief. 3 wishes, he rumbled. Choose wisely, little spark. Aladdin's voice was small but steady. If you can grant me anything, then I wish you free. The cavern shook. Invisible shackles snapped like cold glass. The genie gasped, then laughed. A laugh cracked with tears. No one had chosen him in 1,000 years. I am free, the genie said softly. I can grant no more wishes, but I can walk beside you. I remember old ways. Truths the wind still keeps. Agrabah had grown brittle. Wells coughed dust. Grain levies fed Vizier Zahir's granaries. Fear tiled the alleys. Princess Layla moved quietly among her people, sharing bread with a gaze that warmed without burning. If I had magic, I would fill the wells, Aladdin said. The genie smiled. You freed me. Now free your city, with courage, not commands. Begin with 3 honest gifts. First, said the genie, share bread while hungry. Second, speak your name without fear. Third, offer your hand even to an enemy. Kingdoms have turned on less. In the market, Aladdin split his meager loaf with a stranger child. Then he climbed a crate and called, My name is Aladdin! Guards stared. Vendors froze. His voice did not tremble. His hunger did. Later, when a soldier fell from his cart, Aladdin bound the bleeding knee. Are you mad? The man whispered. No, Aladdin said, just tired of being enemies. Princess Layla watched. Bread and names are seeds, she said, but drought burns seeds. Aladdin answered, Then we make shade. For the first time, she smiled. Zahir spread word that the lamp commanded water. He meant for the crowd to demand it from Aladdin, but the lamp now held only dust, and a memory no one expected. Aladdin and Layla urged people to hang lanterns in the square, each for what they wished to keep. Family, water, truth. Night bloomed with small suns that did not scorch. The genie added tales of cities that stood without sorcery, and rulers who chose mercy over conquest. Fear cracked like old clay under rain. People leaned toward one another and found they had been neighbors all along. Yet the sky refused mercy. Children coughed dust. Wells rasped. Zahir thundered, "Bring me the lamp, or thirst will teach you obedience." Anger pooled in the streets. Cleaning the lamp, Aladdin found a charred scrap stitched to the inside, a map to the undervein, an ancient buried river. Hope knocked so loudly he feared Zahir could hear it. They set out, Aladdin, Layla, the soldier whose knee he'd bound, a handful of market folk, and the genie, now only a free storyteller. Sand blistered their feet. Mirages mocked them. Lakes shimmered, then vanished. Palaces dissolved into dust. "We chase shadows," someone groaned. "Even shadows," Aladdin said, "prove the sun exists." The genie grinned at that. Desert bandits blocked the pass. "Your water or your lives." Aladdin offered a bargain. "Half our water now. Walk with us to the undervein and drink for years." Curiosity outweighed greed. They followed. At a canyon face, words were carved. "Only those who give in hunger may drink in plenty." Aladdin poured half his skin into a niche. The rock split with a sigh older than kings. Beneath earth, a river sang in the dark. They carved channels with picks and bowls, guiding the song toward Agrabah. Laughter replaced complaint. No sorcery, only hands, blistered and unafraid. Zahir unleashed mercenaries to shatter the channels. The genie stood before them. "One story first," he boomed. He told of an army that dropped swords after learning the enemy had fed them in a winter famine. The mercenaries' blades sagged. Hunger remembered itself inside their bellies. The soldier Aladdin had saved stepped forward. "They spared me. I won't break their water." He stood between squads and citizens. A new border was drawn, loyalty instead of fear. Lanterns flared in the square. Layla read wishes aloud. Family, water, truth. And the crowd chanted them like oaths. The mercenaries, suddenly homesick for their own families, withdrew. Aladdin placed the lamp at Zahir's feet. "It holds no power. What you fear isn't magic. It's people who share bread, speak their names, and offer hands to foes. That cannot be commanded." Zahir's voice cracked. "I was once a hungry boy. Power kept me alive. Without it, I thought I would become nothing again." His hands shook like shutters in a wind. "Then learn a different power," said Aladdin. "Not chains, but work. Join us in the sun. Open the cisterns you hid." He handed Zahir a shovel, not a cell. Water surged back. Children chased one another through sluices. Women sang old mill songs. Elders pressed foreheads to cool stone. Gratitude flowed sideways, from neighbor to neighbor, faster than the river itself. The genie tossed the lamp into the canal. "Power is safest when freed," he said. "You freed me. Now your people free one another." The lamp sank without ceremony. No one mourned it. They named Aladdin keeper of the three gifts. Schools taught children to share bread, to speak their names, to offer hands first. Crime dipped, gossip withered, wells kept singing. "I do not need a prince conjured by magic," Layla said. "I need a partner who ties ropes, shares bread, and tells the truth when the truth is heavy." Perhaps Aladdin, or anyone who lives so. Love arrived as work done side by side. Before he left, the genie sat with children and opened his 1,000-year memory. Palaces risen and sanded away, tyrants outlived by their own statues. mothers who ended wars by sharing soup between lines. "If I have learned anything," he said, "it is that freedom must be used quickly to free another." At dawn, he shouldered a small bag. "Freedom is a river," he told Aladdin. "It must flow." They embraced like brothers. "Tell them," the genie whispered, "that the greatest wish is not granted. It is chosen." Children asked, "Did magic save us?" Elders smiled. "No, bread, truth, and mercy did." And one boy who spent his first wish on another's freedom. Under lanterns that now hung year-round, the city kept breathing, quietly, stubbornly, joyfully. If Aladdin had spent his wishes on wealth or palaces, perhaps he would have lived richly and died admired. Instead, he spent his first wish on a shackled spirit and found a richer fate, a people who could stand without spells, and a city that learned to free itself again and again. The lamp is gone. The river runs. And in Agrabah, the greatest magic is still the simplest: to choose another before oneself,